Good morning, everyone. I am Isha Chakraborty, a PhD scholar, and it is a privilege to share this session with fellow researchers. Today, we are diving deep into a tool that we had literally changed the way you work, Zotero. As a researcher, we often find ourselves drawing in a sea of PDFs, browser tabs, and half-finished bibliographies. Zotero is a free open source reference management software that acts as your personal management research assistant. It doesn't just save files, it understands them, it recognizes bibliographic data from journals, books, and even new websites, extracting metadata like author names, publication dates, and DIS automatically. By the end of this 30-minute tutorial, you will have a complete system to store your PDF, organize your thoughts, and generate a flawless thesis bibliography with just a few clicks. Now the next is Zotero presentation outline. To ensure we cover everything thoroughly, I have designed a step-by-step roadmap for today. We will start from the very beginning, the installation phase. Then we will move into the cloud aspect, which is creating your account for signing. We will spend significant time on the Zotero connector, which is bridge between your web browser and your library. After that, we will move into the management phase, organizing folders, adding items manually, and understanding the Zotero interface anatomy. Finally, the highlights of the session will be the Microsoft Word integration, where I will show you how to automate your citation. This structured approach will ensure that by the time we finish, you are a Zotero expert. And the next is resources required. Now let us talk about the setup you need. One of the best things about Zotero is its accessibility. All you need is a laptop or a desktop computer. Whether you use a Mac, Windows or Linux, Zotero has a version for you. You will also need a stable internet connection for the initial download and to sign your library to the cloud. However, I want to highlight a major advantage for PhD scholars. Zotero works offline. Yes, Zotero is also works in offline. If you are traveling or in a library with no Wi-Fi, you can still open your PDFs. I mean save PDFs. Take notes and even insert citation into your Word document. The internet is only needed when you want to fetch new papers or sign your data across different devices. Now the next is starting with Zotero. Our first practical step is to visit www.zotero.org. I recommended you to explore this website beyond just the download button. The support page is goldmine of information. It contains detailed documentation for almost every technical questions you might have. There is also a very active community forum where you can see discussion from the PhD scholars and the researchers. If you feel stuck or want to learn about the advanced plugin, this website is your starting point. Make it a habit to check the forums occasionally to see how global research community is using the tool to improve their academic workflow. The next is downloading Zotero and installing Connector. When you reach the download page, you will see there are two main options. First, download the Zotero standalone software. This is the main database that stays on your computer. And the second, this is the magic part. You must install the Zotero connector for your specific browser, be it Chrome, Safari, or Edge. Many students forget this second step, but without the connector, you lose the ability to save research directly from the web. Yes, connector is very important to save research directly from the web. The software and the browser extension work as a team. The connector finds the data on the web, and the software stores it safely on your hard drive. Once both are installed, you are ready to start building your digital library. And the next is how to creating folders in Zotero. Now let us open the software and talk about organization. When you start your PhD, your library will eventually have the hundred of papers. If you don't organize them early, it will become a mess in later. So on the top of the Zotero interface, you can create collections, which are like folders. I highly recommend creating a folder for each of your thesis chapter. For example, chapter 1 is introduction, chapter 2 you can create literature review, and so on. You can even create subfolders for specific themes like Shakespeare tragedy, moral conflict, this type of thing. When you are writing specific section of your thesis, you don't have to search your entire library. You just go to that specific folder and find exactly what you need. And the next is adding items manually. While Zotero is an excellent at grabbing data from the web, as a PhD scholar, we often refer to older books, physical archives, or even personal interviews that don't have an online link. For this situation, Zotero allows you to add items manually by clicking the green plus icon. You can select the item type: book, general, article, report, or even thesis. You can then manually type in the title, author, publisher, and year. It's a bit more work than one click method, but it's essential to ensure that your final bibliography is 100% complete and includes every single sources you have consulted regardless of its format. Now the next is Zotero Antonym. Let's take a deep look at the Zotero Antonym. The screen is divided into three functional parts. The left side pane is your library tree. It shows your folder, your tags, and your group libraries. The middle pane is your item list. This is where all your individual research papers are listed. You can see the titles and the creators here. Finally, the right pane is the metadata here. When you click or appear in the middle, all its secret appears on the right and the abstract, the volume number, the issue, the DOI, and even the date you added it. Understanding this layout is like knowing the map of your own library. It It makes your research process much faster and more initiative. And the next is downloading article and references through Zotero connector. This is the features that saves hours of manual work. Imagine you are on a site like Google Scholar or a university database. When you find a paper you like, simply look at your browser toolbar and click the Zotero icon. Is an instant. Zotero does these three things. It captures the citation info, it downloads a full text PDF if available, and save it a links to the original website. Yes, it captures info, all the downloads, the full PDF. You don't have to rename your PDF as paper 1 PDF or paper 2 PDF anymore. Zotero renames them automatically based on the author and title. This one click efficiency is the reason why Zotero is the top choice for modern academic researchers. Yes, so Zotero is the most top of the choices for all the like as a PhD scholar or a modern academic researchers. Now, the next slide is accessing articles through Zotero library. Once your library is populated, accessing your PDF articles is incredibly easy. You are no longer need to hunt through your downloads folders or look through various USB drives. Everything is in one place. In the middle pane, you can see your list of articles. If a paper has a PDF attached, you will see a small blue circle or a PDF icon next to it. Just click on it and you can see all the details. Like you can also add text, your articles like must read or important chapters for chapter 3 or chapter 4, or filter your library even further. This level of accessibility ensures that your focus stays on reading and analyzing, not on searching for files. So the next is reading through Zotero library. Zotero is also a built-in PDF readers and annotator. When you double click a paper, it opens with the Zotero window. This is where the real PhD work happens. You can highlight text in different colors, whatever the colors you want, you can highlight through that. To represent different themes, you can add sticky notes to remember the things also. To specific paragraphs to record your thoughts or critics. The best part, what is this of the things? All these highlights and notes are reachable. Later, if you remember reading a quote about moral conflict but can't remember which paper it was in, because after some time, after we read anything, we only remember the quote, but we forget where and which paper we read that. So you can just search your Zotero library and it will find the exact highlight within the PDF for you. This makes the literature review process much more interactive and organized. Now the next is add citation or bibliography on your Word document. Now we move to the most critical part of our PhD journey, writing. When you install Zotero, it adds a special tab to Microsoft Word. This is a game changer, I said, okay? When you are writing a sentences and want to cite a source, You don't need to stop and look up formatting. You just click Add, Edit Citation. A search bar will appear where you can select the paper. Zotero asks you for the citation style. Whether your university requires APA, MLA, Chicago, or Vancouver, Zotero has them all. You just select the style ones, and the Zotero takes care of all the commas, italics, and brackets for you. Now the next is add citation and references in the Word document. As you continue your writing process, you can add as many citations as you need. There is no limit at all. When you reach the end of your document or your chapter, it's time for the bibliography. Instead of typing it manually and worrying about alphabetical order, you simply click Add Edit Bibliography. Instantly, Zotero scans your entire document and generates a perfect reference list for every source you actually cited. If you decide to delete a paragraph or add a new source later, you just hit the refresh button and Zotero updates the entire list automatically. This ensures that your reference list is always accurate and perfectly signed with your text. And the next is alternatively add bibliography using the method below. There is also very handy quick method for those times when you are writing a full thesis but just need a quick list of references for a presentation or an email. You can go into your Zotero library, highlights a group of articles, right click and select Create Bibliography from Items. It will ask you for the style and you can then choose Copy to Clipboard. Now you can just paste that perfectly formatted list anywhere. This is extremely useful for sharing reading list with your supervisor or colleagues. For adding a quick reference slide at the end of a PowerPoint presentation. Now the next is references added. Take a look at the example on the screen. This is what a Zotero generated bibliography looks like. Notice how every detail from the author initial to the general volume and the DOI is perfectly placed. In academic publishing, even a small mistake in a citation can lead to a rejection, and it feels very disappointing. By using Zotero, you eliminate the risk of human error. You don't have to memorize where the period goes or whether the title should be in italics. Zotero follows the official style guides strictly, ensuring that your work looks professional and meets the highest academic standard of any university or journal worldwide. And now the last is summary to wrap up things up. We have seen today how Zotero is not just a storage tool, but a complete ecosystem for research. It helps you to collect data with one click, organize it into meaningful folders, read and annotate your PDFs, and finally, it automates the most tedious parts of academic writing, citation, and bibliographies. I highly encourage all of you to start using Zotero from the very first day of your research. It will save your hundred of hours over the courses of PhD and keep your mind free for what truly matters, your original contribution to the knowledge. Thank you for your time, and I hope this helped you in your research journey. Happy researching.